Feeling like I'm running around like a chicken, but
Yeah, I feel a little manic today.
I've just switched the way I'm scheduling my Mondays. I'm cutting it to those. Like I'm like, oh, I gotta go.
Bye.
Get
And they're like,
I have to go to a meeting.
oh, la, la, la,
That's
la.
when somebody always has a story or a thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, this meeting, but I just, I'm like,
Oh.
let's get to it. Oh, that wasn't the end of the story, okay.
That wasn't the end of the story.
But anyhow, yeah.
That's funny. Oh, that wasn't the end of the story.
I just don't like hair, cause I like hit all the green lights, which is perfect, cause
That's
otherwise
nice.
it's like, oh, no.
Right.
You were on my radar to be like,
You know?
but, yeah. As long as that's the way that that goes, and I don't hit a train.
Right.
Price, you know, it's not that they give us.
Yeah, worse.
Oh, I feel that way just coming from the point. When I hit a train, I'm like, come on.
Just can't be here right now.
No, I'll get to the other, I just haven't seen it come.
No worries, I was late today getting it out.
Yep, we, under my last home game. So we had a couple left. We're still skunking in. Okay. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Sure.
Just thing about, are you guys, like, is your guys' tennis schedule all over the damn place? Or is your tennis schedule for high school, is it all over, or are you
Yeah.
finding things out like last minute?
5, 6, 5.
No, ours is pretty set.
We are not. Sunday last week, we found out that the girls had a game on Monday in Kirkston.
Yeah.
Like today.
No, it was like last.
Oh,
week, like,
okay, yeah.
Sunday night though.
Yeah.
So, oh, we're going to Kirkston. Okay.
Yep.
Then she had a match on, then they had a match on Tuesday, so they were gone on Monday, they were in Kirkston, Tuesday they were at home. Wednesday afternoon, they added a
They can do it.
Park Rapids tournament
Oh.
Saturday, and I'm like,
Oh.
we're out of town.
Yeah.
Like, so they had a match
I would
Monday,
not like
Tuesday,
that.
Thursday, Saturday. And I was like, we made plans, we were going up.
Yeah, I would.
Like, I was like, and so, and I just got one today that there's a meeting on Saturday out in Rome.
Mm.
So it's like,
That, not figured that all of a sudden.
yeah, it's really all over the place.
Yeah, that would irritate me. Josh, did that work out?
As long as it's good, he's gonna, they'll call him tomorrow.
Okay,
So, should-
just let me know. Okay,
So if it works on a schedule.
okay.
Yeah, I wanted to get to it earlier, but.
I'll do it. You can't put.
Did anything ever happen?
No, yeah, those are-
Haven't heard anything.
I
have no idea.
Don't worry, whenever, not.
Okay,
Roll with it.
same,
Yeah.
same Z's.
So like she, Cassie's just got twice. I'll never work for you. So-
Here, wait to get everybody.
Yes.
Same Z's, okay.
So.
At least we weren't banging down the door for that.
Yeah.
You guys won't have to wait so long on.
My granddaughter.
I would have liked to have listened to that combo.
Sounds like it was short.
Right.
But I guess she just wanted to make sure that she came here and told everybody that how unsafe it was here. That was the mission, don't you?
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. How's your new gig going? Good,
It's been a good start.
Good.
Busy.
yeah,
Been good.
good, it's
Yeah, I
good.
feel like I'll never, like, I thought that.
So.
I said.
That was, I thought, the mission, but you misread that. So you don't need to. Just would like to come and tell us, thank you for that. Nobody else will be back.
She's in Harrison.
Just in.
Has all the access.
I haven't like, it's been kind of quiet.
So, yeah, knock on wood, but I was thinking about like when,
School stuff.
no,
Stuff.
the hockey thing.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it because when, what's his face, Brian was here,
Oh, yeah.
it was every day. It was
Mhm.
every single.
Yeah.
day, multiple times.
Yeah.
And so this is like,
No.
yep.
Mhm.
Nice. Before.
That's nice. I just.
All right. These meetings are- Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, call to order, roll call, everybody is present today. 4.0 is to approve the agenda. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Questions or discussion on the agenda? All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 5.0 communication and reports. Start with finance.
Good evening, everybody. Okay, we'll just jump right into the board report for the budget to actuals. And we're moving along pretty smoothly. Just want to make a note in the revenue for under local other. We are up quite significantly in that one right now as far as the budget goes due to our MA dollars that we're collecting. So we'll have to take a look at that, but it's a good thing we're collecting those. So that is the difference in that one. And then jumping down into the expenditures, under purchase services, that one is an increase over last year just because we approved the AVID training in San Diego. That is one. And then the broiler project is also in there that we have for LTFM. And purchase services, the next line down, or excuse me. Yeah, no, supplies, sorry. Next one down, that is due to the differences is science textbooks for the science new curriculum and some software purchases. And then lastly that I wanted to note on that one is the equipment. And almost 100% of that is the new bus and SUV that we purchased that we haven't done in the past. So any questions on that page? Alrighty, then we're jumping over to page 2. And all the funds are running right on a schedule. And then I just wanted to make the note on the expenditures for community ed. We purchased new curriculum that you guys approved, I think 2 meetings ago. So that is what the increase is over last year. And then our summer wave salaries are just up a tish from the year before. So any questions on that page?
Any questions?
Okay. And then on the treasurer's report, if you look at our ending balance, we're down a little bit from, well, good 500,000 from the year before. And that's our purchases that we did for the bus and the SUV takes up a good chunk of that. And then it's just timing of the payments that we've done this year. So hopefully we'll rebound there. And that's all I had tonight.
Any questions for Carla? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
5.2 administration and department head reports. Start with Superintendent Grover.
Perfect. Again, as always, no specific order. Good news, we got $60,000 in what the state is calling a cyber grant. Approximately 20,000 will cover our cyber insurance. And then the other 40,000, we could put safety type items. There was a group of things we could pick from. We focused on, and I'm pointing at Jason here, upgrades to some cameras. We got approved, so now we will actually narrow in and, I think they're looking at the old part of this building to upgrade is our worst camera situation. So again, that's good, positive. Number two, you see there's a resolution later in the board agenda, and just so everyone's kind of on par, if you will, about once a year, Ellers will take and look at our bonds and see if it makes sense to, I'm just going to call it refinance. They're saying it's not a huge savings. It's about $20,000 a year. It takes some time. So all that resolution is going to do is allow us to move forward. There's some, paperwork to get rated, and then they will watch the market, and all of a sudden they'll say, you know what, we think we should go. And they might do 3, 4, 5. They won't do, there's about, I'm guessing close to 9 years, 10 years or something. The last 3 or 4 years don't make much sense. The rate, they're all different rates. You sold them at one time, but you get different rates. So they're looking at roughly about 6 years of netting about 20,000. That's where 120,000 comes from. So we're not locked into anything. The board will approve it later, but that resolution is just to get the process going. Got some meet and confer dates set. So this is for King, Larson, and Perkowitz. If you can just put on your calendar. Last year, I don't think we actually had to meet with any of them, but we set October 6th. I think these are all Mondays, not board meeting much. February 2nd and May 18th. I can shoot you an email if that would.
What time?
3:30 is what we're throwing. I mean, we can go 4, we can go 5. I mean, we just wanted to get something out there because I know how it is if we don't put it down, if it's needed. Make sense? Number 5, the other grant that we're waiting on is the Solar for Schools to see if we've been successful. It's supposed to come out any day now. So I haven't heard anything on that. We did have a health and safety committee meeting last week. For the most part, I'm going to say no huge what do you want to call it, surprises. I mean, the drop off, pickup, and parking at CMS is still probably the one that pops the most. And again, Nexus is looking at it. I don't know what the solution is other than, more parking or something. Again, other than that, there were just, different things that I think are working on. We do have a scheduled what's called district leadership meeting tomorrow. Not a lot on the agenda, but that's the date we had set last spring or whatever for coming up. So we will do that. Again, just a heads up, we have arbitration on Thursday on our 4th grade teaching situation. We'll go through that. Busing, just giving you a heads up, we are running short again. We had, I think, 1 or 2 routes delayed last week. It's cut and go. I'm going to put a plea out to our employees to see if anyone, we're interested in being trained, we'll cover. And we appreciate the ones, one of the people in the room here does some driving and it helps immensely. Whether it's over the road runs, whether it's, routes, whatever. So anyway, we will keep working on that. One thing we need to hit, and I kind of dropped or forgot about it. We talked about superintendent goals back in probably July or something and have never kind of come back. So I'm just throwing it out to, I don't know how you want to go down that road again. The teacher contract, just so the whole group is on board, we're in the review process. I met with a couple of the representatives. I think we, are good on the language. Their group is going to go at it now. And so we should have, unless it doesn't go or something, a contract for the board to consider next meeting. And the last thing I think on my list is Scott and I had a conversation or a meeting with Sacred Heart with regards to possibility of co-op for girls hockey. There's no decision being made tonight, but I told them I would bring it up with the board to keep the process going. They're looking at next year. Okay. And so my question to the board is, what do you need? What information, what would you like to do for a process? Again, we can talk about stuff tonight, but there's, I don't want to say there is a deadline down the road, meaning they need a thumbs up or not. Otherwise they're not going to break, again, this is not this winter. This is for the next year, but they need to let, Crookston know if they're not gonna, continue. So I think we need to have a conversation. The other thing that's come up is we've had a few other, inquiries even about some of the other like rec sports. Could anyone else participate or not? And it's worth a conversation. For instance, there's a Riverside person who was interested in junior high soccer. Like hockey, junior high, or the youth levels, anyone in the community, I think for the most part can play. Obviously, when you get to high school, it's a different story. Junior high is not high school. We could or could not, and there's pros and cons. Obviously, I don't know, depending on the sport, numbers is a big piece. Like girls hockey, and I'm just gonna start there. The numbers aren't horrible right now, but they're not great either, and looking down the road. So, I mean, it is something I think worth considering. I don't see any of our kids not having a place. That being said, it's a 2-year agreement. There's some have said, hey, would, all kinds of Grand Forks kids possibly go to Sacred Heart then and feel, well, they don't feel that's realistically an option, but you can never say never. And so it's obviously a 2-year commitment, to look at. So I need to know what you guys need.
Can you put stipulations in the agreement?
Yeah, we can
As
put whatever.
far as, well, it's certain things. I mean, like, if we have kids that go to school here, we can't say they can't
Right.
participate.
Oh, no.
And the same thing would be over there. We can't say it's only I think they have 3 kids right now is what they feel a year from now would possibly,
Yeah.
I mean, we can't say no one knew other than those 3. I mean,
No, I guess I didn't mean it like that.
Can we put stipulations? So, sorry,
Good.
like you have to be from our community. You can't be from Grand Forks.
I don't think so, because it's
wouldn't-
the same thing like us. If we have a kid that's open enrolled here,
Saying,
no, but.
but that would be example of a stipulation. I don't know if you were thinking.
Josh, but it's just like if we have a kid attending school here, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter if they're from Fisher, Crookston, wherever, if they go to school here, they can participate
Mhm.
in activities.
Mhm.
So I don't think that. I mean, there's some question on fee, and definitely we
Mhm.
can, here's what we would charge. They're not looking at a name change or anything like that. They're looking to be Green Wave girls hockey players. They were very clear on that. They're not looking like,
Green Eagles.
no, nothing
There-
like that.
So there is a player or two that from Grand Forks that goes to Sacred Heart, plays hockey with Crookston last year. I don't see, I've talked to a lot of people about this. I don't see any people from Grand Forks. If this were to go through, I don't foresee any people from Grand Forks putting their kids in a different school so their kid can play girls hockey over here. Especially if it's just for a possibility of 2 years.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying we told.
There
them.
might be some grandfathered in, but that are already on the team, but I don't foresee people switching schools just to jump across the river to play girls hockey over here. I don't see that being an issue.
And like I say, there's mixed feelings. There's a reason it is sport by sport. And when I say sport or activity by activity is what I should say is there's certain activities I would say we're not interested at all, that have good numbers and this.
Correct.
Girls hockey, like I say, it's not dire right now, but
The younger years seem to be having the numbers issues, not the high school girls.
correct. And
So we haven't had a 15U team in quite some time. And that's why our numbers don't look bad at the high school level, because all of our 15U players are up at the high school level. It would be better for the development of our program if we had a 15U team to develop them at that level and then bring them up to high school when they're at the high school age.
We
At our,
don't have
but
enough to
that's-
play 15 UN JV.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So our,
Like, three girls isn't gonna make that.
no, it won't. It won't. But I do think, any way we can build the program is a positive. And I think it could, even if it's just bringing a little bit of success now to the program, I think anything will help, because at our 10U and 8U level, the numbers aren't big enough to sustain a program for us. So once we get to that level, we're gonna look at
Adding
possibly.
to high school doesn't change those numbers.
No, it doesn't.
Because it's a youth
It's a
program.
It's a
I-
Youth
Good
program
Bill,
Problem.
good-
problem. It's not a high school problem.
Yeah, I understand that.
but you think that's not.
Well, they never had the option.
But some of the girls aren't playing because they are afraid they're not gonna be able to have a team, is what I've heard. Like some of the people in girls hockey at the younger ages are not continuing because the numbers at their age right now, they don't have teams.
There is a problem, like our 8U level this year, we're not having an 8U team. They're pushing them up to 10U. And it's like Amanda's saying, some of those girls are just not gonna play. But my point is, if we can build on to the success of our high school team right now, any little bit, I think would help trickle down to the lower levels of bringing attention, bringing success to the program in general at the high school level could help lead to success at lower levels or lead to more numbers at lower levels possibly.
Here's my point of view and where I get stuck a little bit is I don't want to get to a point, even if it's 3-4 years down the road, where now we don't have a program and now we have to co-op and we have to co-op with people maybe we don't want to co-op with, or we have to send our kids to Grand Forks like we have before.
That's what we're looking at.
Right.
And I would like to avoid that too.
Just like I still get irritated about the wrestling program. Like that irritates me to my core. So I don't want to get into a situation like that. When we have always said, you know, green wave, we bleed green, what have you. I get that. I feel that. I mean, I'm here. But if we don't evolve and we don't evolve our way of thinking, we're going to lose. Like girls sports is like dying, like not just hockey, like girls sports in general. So I think I don't have the best answer. I don't know exactly what the best answer is, but I think we seriously need to think about that.
The other thing I throw out is I don't, and this is my own opinion in the last year and a half, I don't see a huge number of girls that are playing, and that's all I'm focusing on right now, that if you do this are going to leave us and go to school at Sacred Heart. I don't believe that's truly going to happen. Number two is there's always that chance that as these girls, you know, become a team and start playing, you never know. Maybe some kid comes from there over to here. Number two, it sounds like Crookston is going to co-op. Even this aside, they're looking at co-oping with another school besides Sacred Heart. I mean, they're struggling. Their numbers are struggling as well. You know, if Sacred Heart ever goes, you know, comes our way, I'm not wishing anything bad on Crookston, but if that program ever go, maybe you gains a kid or two. You know, it's just there's all kinds of what ifs, and we can, you know, it's tough. It's tough to combine.
It's tough.
I think East Grand Forks and Warroad are the only two towns in the section that don't currently co-op. Crookston currently co-ops with Hatton, Mayport, and Sacred Heart. Detroit Lakes is with.
They're
Fraser,
gonna go
Hills,
with,
Rapid, or Wadena, Deer Creek. It's pretty common for girls hockey to have co-ops.
Well, Grand Forks says it. They don't have their own teams. We were talking about that earlier.
Deep River
People over there and they can barely get one team.
Deep River co-ops with Kidston Central, Marshall County, Red Lake Falls, Warren, Alvarado, Oslo. So it's not uncommon for these girls hockey, the other towns the other teams in our section to have co-ops.
So I guess back to the board.
Yeah.
Like say, no decisions made tonight. Is there anything you need from Scott or I? Obviously, you can, you know, as the next week or two go on, I mean, the plan would be to bring some, you know, something on the agenda to actually make a decision, thumbs up, thumbs down. And I just don't want to be, you know, 2 weeks sitting here at the table going, well, I need this now. Well,
I'd want to see what a draft agreement looks like.
okay, I mean, the co-op agreement for the most part, other than the price, what we want to charge is pretty, you know, cut and dried. It's, you put your enrollment on, I mean, it's a 1-page deal with the Minnesota State High School League that both boards, governing bodies have to approve. I mean, it doesn't lay out when practices are or whatever, but I guess that's another conversation of what the board, now keeping in mind, you know, like we don't pay anything for, is it wrestling or swimming going, you know, to Grand Forks, and we don't want to, you know, they do pay something to Crookston. I mean, we're aware of that, but on the flip side, I don't want to open a can of worms if we're gonna, you know, all of a sudden Grand Forks is looking and going, you're gonna gouge them, where we're gonna, you know, make you pay, you know, because it can come both ways. I think they're open to paying, you know, a chunk, but again, I don't think this is a huge money-making issue for, you know, the district. I'm just throwing it out there that, you know, because the flip side, if we charge, I'm just throwing it out there, $1,000 a kid across the river, if they decide to start charging us $1,000 a kid, we're going backwards. You know, I mean, they need to pay something. They already said that, you know, but I just want to be careful we don't open something and hurt ourselves that way, you know. That makes sense.
I've talked to a lot of girls hockey parents and a lot of girls hockey coaches, and I've only had positive responses about a potential co-op. Everybody's on board. Everybody just feels the same way that our program is struggling a lot right now, and any little bit would help. I know this is only a couple of players, 2 or 3 players. They all say the same thing, that any little bit would help, whether it's just a couple players or more players down the road. We need help. And I have talked to 2 of the parents of the players that would move over here, or move to the East Grand Forks' girls hockey team, and they're both on board with it. So it's not like we're putting somebody in a spot where they would be going to a different team that they weren't interested in doing.
So where another issue that I see, and like, we might not need the numbers now, and I agree with that. We don't need the numbers now. My kid plays, we don't need the numbers now, but the business opportunity presents itself now. And it's just like in any business.
Yeah.
Do you jump on that now?
Cause 2 years from now, they might
They
not
might
be interested.
They might be co-oping with Red Lake.
4 years,
Falls,
6 years, whatever, yeah.
Right. So that's, yeah, go ahead.
Having coached the girls and having been through this 100 times in youth hockey, you've got 3 people. Crookston approached us, we didn't approach them.
Was it Sacred Heart that approached us?
Sacred Heart.
Yep.
So what that tells me is they don't wanna make the drive. There's gonna be nights when they're coming home at 11:30, they're getting dumped off in East Grand Forks. They gotta, or in Crookston, they gotta drive here. 2 of those 3 will switch. They'll come over to our school, if you're patient, I would bet.
And-
The kids will come,
Yeah.
students will come to our school.
And I guess,
That's how it's always been. They've moved over.
No, but you're saying if we co-op with them, they'll come.
No, that they'll come.
if we don't. And
That
I,
would be my guess, because that's the way it's been done.
There's one that's in Crookston.
But that's the
right now.
way it's been done for years. So
So-
when do you
I
evolve?
mean, I don't, what my thought is, we might not have to, because we get 2 free students. They transfer from Sacred Heart to East Grand Forks.
The 2 parents that I've talked to, didn't imply that they have any, intention of switching schools.
And that's their decision. That's
yeah,
okay.
and that's
They
okay,
can do
but
whatever.
I just I don't think that this answers the question of the high school as a whole. Yeah, you're bringing 3 kids over, but it doesn't really do the justice of what it needs. It's the youth program that has
Right.
to be developed.
Doesn't solve the.
10 years ago, we didn't have a very good basketball team
It-
for boys and girls. I'll just use that sport as an example. And a couple guys in the community got together and created the YBA. And the YBA is flourishing, and so is our high school teams because of that. And that is, in my opinion, where that has to be. And the YBA is a separate entity from the school completely. But that has built our program to astronomical numbers now.
Created a
because of what we
feeder
did.
program.
It created a feeder program because of how that is. If we go and say, hey, yep, we'll take Sacred Heart, we're gonna take 3 girls for this year, for the next 2 years. Well, how many more? That's only 3 girls. What happens when those girls graduate? Now, we're still bringing
more,
them. We
maybe.
might not have any there.
Yeah.
So what's the point of just doing that for those 3 people, I guess?
Like I said, everybody that.
If they had a program that, they had 10, 15 and they couldn't really fill a team, and they have a youth program behind them that's coming, and they have 10, 15, and now all of a sudden you can sustain a program, maybe that's something that, I would look at and consider a little bit more. But if it's only 3 girls for 2 years and then they're graduated, and now you're in the same spot as you were right now.
Possibly, yeah.
Mhm.
But
You're right.
One of them playing Crookston. And the other-
they're all playing at
They're all,
Crookston.
yeah, they're all,
playing at Crookston.
Well, and the other piece,
Some lives in Crookston,
The-
goes to Sacred Heart.
you're right.
the other piece to look at, and this is not just an East Grand Forks issue. I mean, I would guess in girls hockey, there's more co-ops than standalone teams. I
Correct.
don't have the data,
Yeah.
but I mean, and so, like I say, it's not just a Sacred Heart East Grand Forks. I mean, most have 2, 3, 4 names, attached to them, and some of them are bigger communities than we live in, and so, I mean, it is a challenge with girls hockey for whatever reason. Yeah,
I just don't think it's wise to say this year, next year, we don't need. I
no,
think you gotta futuristically think.
No, but then you gotta go to the beginning.
and like I say,
High school, you gotta go to
I
this.
agree with you.
to the
Yeah, yeah.
I
beginning.
agree with you. I don't think it's the only thing that's gonna solve the girls' hockey.
Yeah.
problem, But I don't think that at all. But it's a portion of it that could.
Everybody I've talked to have they all feel the same, that any little bit helps. Even if this helps young kids that are at Sacred Heart, that see there's a way to go to Sacred Heart possibly in the future and play hockey, but still attend Sacred Heart. This could lead to them joining.
It's too much projection.
It is, it's a lot.
You can't
But
take that.
I guess when I look at, when I weigh the positives and negatives, I don't really see much negative to this.
You're only hearing one side. The people you're speaking to are only telling you
So
one
what's the
side.
negative?
What's the negative though of doing this?
The fact that the kids, it's not solving the problem. It's not bringing the kids over to the school. It's allowing them to come over and play, but it's not really dealing with the problem at all and the headaches that come with it.
You're forcing the school board to make a decision because the parents didn't want to send their kids to public school.
But what is the negative of them? How does it affect our school negatively?
They don't come over here to our school.
We don't get the dollars.
But they pay for their fees.
That's not the same.
How are we losing
don't get-
money on it?
We don't get dollars from the state when kids go to Sacred Heart.
But they're already not going here, so we're not losing money.
No, we're not gaining anything.
We're
either.
not getting anything.
But so there's no negatives. It's just a neutral that for them staying at their school, if they stay there, but they're paying the fees that would add to our expense.
That's not the way my mind.
So back to as far as, again, because we're not going to make a decision tonight. Is there anything other than, Scott and I making a recommendation on what we would say we charge them? I mean, is there anything else? Again, talk to whomever. I mean, if there is something, email, call, whatever. Otherwise, the assumption would be we would put something on the board agenda, to approve a co-op, and either it goes forward or it doesn't. But like I say, and we can talk all night. Yeah, we'll have more conversation next week or 2 weeks, whenever the board meeting is. But I guess if there's anything, any one of you say, hey, I thought of this, can you get information or let us know, and we'll get whatever we can. Like I said, the question, I think they have 4 kids right now, but they project in a year it would be 3. So they must have a senior or something like that. Cause that was one of the questions.
Maybe ask the other schools that currently co-op if they've had any negative impacts from co-oping with the other schools.
I think, Lynn, is the cutoff date for Sacred Heart to put in the paperwork the first day of the hockey season? Is that what you read in the bylaws?
It is, but the caveat to that is if they add this other school that supposedly they're adding, they have to drop their co-ops anyway. And so that is probably gonna possibly, but for some reason, if that one doesn't work out, it is a year in advance. So that's why we're looking at next board meeting before girls hockey starts, the end of October, beginning of November to make a call. But their feeling was that they're adding another school, and so when that happens, you dissolve anything you currently have and everyone has a right. So,
Yeah, generally, like, they have to make a decision a year before to dissolve anything.
unless both sides agree, both
Right.
sides or all parties
But they-
agree, you could do it. So,
Right.
okay. Other than that, I don't have anything else, I don't think at this point. If we could, and depending on which agenda, on one of them, I had AVID way down on the end because thought was they might be later, but on one of them, then they moved it up. So if we can,
Yep,
we would have,
it's just fine. I have.
Mr. Enright,
Five
Mr.
point 2.2. Dr. Tack, Mr. Enright, come to the mic, please. And then turn the mic on too. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh my word, there's a reason why I'm heard and not seen when I look up there on that video screen up there. Holy moly. All right, it's a pleasure to be here in my official capacity now. Last year, I was lucky enough to be here with Mrs. Driscoll to kind of talk about the impetus as to why the public schools should move towards AVID and some of my experiences in the Grand Forks Public Schools in the same position I'm holding right now. When I started transitioning more into the position that I'm holding right now, one of the things I shared with Mrs. Driscoll and Mr. Grover early on was this year zero plan that hopefully we can start moving towards here a little bit soon. A lot of this is based upon what I did with the Grand Forks Public Schools that I put forward, and this would provide a nice template moving forward for us as well in regards to rolling out not just at the middle school this year, but any potential school. This right here could be a game plan of attack. AVID has some very strict expectations as to what needs to be followed and how it needs to be followed. Since we're starting middle school first, the AVID elective needs to dominate. There's certain non-negotiables that they have in the elective is one of them. And in all of the training that we continue to have, one of the things, and why Mr. Enright is here, is that they say you should tighten up your elective first and put your resources into that while you're starting to build the capacity of your site team around you. We were lucky enough to have training with our site team that we saw a lot of benefit from, but AVID, as good as it is, it truly is that drinking from the fire hose. So as the site team, as you look at, I divided this by semester 1, semester 2. The idea is that for this first semester, we can build that capacity from within, because in essence, the idea behind AVID is that you train the trainers. We become the in-house experts and also could transition into district-wide experts as well. But before we push anything too large, we really need to better understand what it means for us within Central Middle School as well. So you're going to see with the semester 1, I talk about the site team. That's that small core group of us that went to start leading AVID from within. And then the AVID elective, the AE, is what Mr. Enright has so graciously and willingly been able to take over. I'm not going to read these bullet points. I know that you're more than capable of doing that. This is not anything that we've, like I said, I've shared this with Mr. Grover and Mrs. Driscoll as my vision and my game plan and how I've put it into play. We're going to be meeting tomorrow and maybe see which of these we can move forward. But in my role as district director, I figured that I got to put together some sort of philosophy to move based upon my proven experiences with this all throughout. But where we're really seeing the effects and what we really need to make sure we're doing well is this AVID elective. And I just wanted to give Mr. Enright a chance to talk about it as well too, because in Mr. Enright, we have a marvelous, like a marvelous tragedy. It's like Shakespeare that I used to teach in that, not you personally, I mean, but I just, welcome to your roast, Mr. Enright. It's or Yorick. Yes, you are. Hold your head right here. But no, two major hurdles we're going to have at the middle school is that our two key pieces of the site team are leaving after just 1 year. And that's tough. I mean, start a brand new organization and put your president and the key person doing it and then say, all right, you only got them for a year and then they're leaving. That's quite a challenge. And one of the things that I'm working to mitigate as well as part of my year zero plan, and something that I talked to Mr. Enright about too, is that we lose our site team head in Mrs. Vetter as she retires, and then Mr. Enright as he leaves after this year for the AVID elective. So we have to plan to succeed, and that is another one, as you see, is our systems analysis, one of the things that we have to look for in being able to do it. But one of the things is that we can build from within, and I want Mr. Enright to talk a little bit about what he's doing, what he sees, and with his years of expertise, how he continues to feel that this is the real right thing to do. So I'm just going to get out of the way and let you get in the picture there. I'm going to move there, sir.
Don't know if anybody wants to see that.
Absolutely.
I think everybody knows me, Jim Enright. I'm going to try and keep this short. Matt's over there going, that's never happened. Basically, when you guys looked at your financial account, the one was a little low because we went to AVID, and I just want to tell you, I've been to different group sessions over my 30 plus years here, and that was without a doubt some of the best money I think our district could have spent. It was well used. We worked bell to bell. We started early. It went late. It was just super informative from the beginning to the end. And I can't say enough about it, and thanks for letting me go. I guess one of the ways I got here is I gave up my spot so Jill could hire a new social studies teacher. We know that because at the time it looked like all three of us were going at the same time. So, which would have been at the end of this year. So I thought I could help out a little. And one of the classes that opened up was AVID. I kind of thought it was just going to be enrichment, but it turned into AVID. And I really have to say I was sold when we went to San Diego. The things that I saw from 7th grade students are not what I see from our 7th grade students, and I was amazed. You almost have to see it to believe it's actually happening. And the way they speak, the way they converse with adults, the things that they do is amazing. And they were from a variety of schools in the San Diego area. They came from different spots. You know, that goes, I'm sure some of them were handpicked, but I'm sure some of them were just along for the ride. And the ones that were along for the ride were as good as the ones that were handpicked.
They were live?
Yeah, they were right there at our tables. I mean, there were, I can't imagine how many people we had there. There had to be thousands of teachers.
At the event,
probably yeah.
Close to 8,000-9,000.
It was amazing. And the children that were in AVID, all of these 8,000 or 9,000 people were split up into different rooms all over the major convention center in San Diego. And there were groups going all day long to all of the different rooms. So it wasn't just a few AVID kids. It was a huge blend of kids, and they were amazing. And if you're not sure exactly what AVID is, I'll be honest with you, before San Diego, I didn't know either. And it's advancement via individual determination. So we're looking for kids that can bring it from in here and just work to get better. And that's one of the things that I don't always see right now in our district. And I'm that teacher that thought, you know, the upper Midwest here was the last bastion of good public education where we're going to get after it and these kids are going to be great. And what I saw there kind of made me really step back and go, wow, this is beyond where we are right now. And I just want to say how impressed I was. I think this program is something that will make all of our students better. It's not things that we aren't already doing. It's just bringing them in. It's working on writing. It's working on inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. It's all the stuff that we already do. It's just not bunched together. And when you put it all together and bring it together, I mean, it's powerful. It is something amazing. It sold me. I think it's not only going to make our students better, I think it's going to make our teaching staff better. I really look at this and I go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a better teacher. I wish I would have done this 30 years ago. If I would have had this program, I know I would be a lot better teacher than I am today. And I just think it will make us better.
I have one question. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for you guys?
Right now, what I'm looking at, I see it as our scheduling with my AVID elective right now. And this is no fault of anybody here. It just worked out this way at the time because this is a little bit last minute. We're butting heads with an elective family and consumer science, and we're butting heads with elective PE. And I don't care how much you want to get better and how determined you are. An 8th grade boy is not going to go into a writing and organization class over, I could be in Phi Ed for an extra hour. And that's just the way it is. It's the middle school. It's the nature of the beast. And I think we also run into the problem with chorus and band. I think a lot of our target audience that I see as those, and what we're really looking for with the AVID elective is those B and C students that want to become an A student, that really have that drive, but they just need the extra organization or extra skills that'll get them there. And I think some of those students are band kids and chorus kids, and they can't participate because scheduling right now doesn't allow it. And I have no idea what the answer to that is. I don't think it's an easy answer because scheduling is its own beast. So I don't know how you fix that. But I think right now, especially with the elective end of it, we don't necessarily have all of the kids that might be the fit for this. And I think that with the elective portion of it is very important from what I know with Dr. Tack. So that would be one of the things I think that we could try to figure out. I don't know how we do it. So I'm just throwing out more problems for you, but.
Well, no, it's good to know what the biggest
but
challenge is. That's the
If
biggest,
you have
yeah.
questions, I mean, hey, my last year.
Is the program limited to a certain amount of students?
That depends on how we expand it. Right now, I've got about a dozen kids in each of those electives. We had a few more. We were up around 15 and kids elected to leave because it was, well, I want to be in FACS or I want to be in Phi-Ed. How did I get in AVID? And that was just kind of teachers throwing out names at the end of last year. And I'll be honest with you, I missed our AVID selection meeting, but when I talked to the staff members, there were, I think some of the things that they looked at versus the things that AVID has stacked up for what they would call requirements didn't necessarily line up. And so we have some kids that maybe aren't the best subjects to, the best subjects, students to be in the room. But we're working through it. We're pounding away each day and they're getting better. I mean, each kid, one of them surprised the heck out of me the other day. We were talking in our PLCs and I kind of asked how he was doing and somebody said, well, he's got all of his stuff in and he's doing this. And I'm going, wow, he's organized, which he was not last year at all, in the very least. And so if it's working for him, it's probably working for the others as well. And because he was one of my bigger concerns, and I'm very pleased to hear that. So it's just, it works. It's something I look at that I just think it's a plus for every single kid that can get in here. There's 5 major areas we work on, and if you get better in any of it, it just makes every kid better. It'll make our staff better.
We're seeing that too. AVID ends up becoming an excellent district-wide recruiting process because after we found out that, we're moving towards this in-house, one of the challenges as I rolled this out in Grand Forks was nobody knowing anything about it, or very, very, very few. And we were all just learning together and we had the capacity, the capacity by which we could fund and do it at such, I thought, okay, coming from there where they had the funds to train the entire school, buy-in wasn't an issue because everybody had the training and it was easy to do. Well, in the real world, and that's such a rare occurrence in AVID, even they were kind of shocked as to how to help us. For us, it's building that capacity with the site team, and I kind of look for the Pied Pipers, who are great teachers, who will do good things, who will not only have that reflected within their classrooms, but then be the ones that pull other people along, like a Mr. Enright as well, too. And we're seeing already leaders arise from within. A few of our Valley transfers already who are brand new are stepping up and saying, hey, this is a good idea. This is how we can build success. We should function our meetings like this. The other person who was at Valley said, yes, we found success this way. And the faculty taking those internal leadership roles and rising. It's not becoming a hard sell. They're seeing the value. It's the time. It's the other thing too, is that we lack the middle school model. And that's a challenge. We teach more than we do anything during the day at Valley. And I just know that I was there, but they had the Royal time. And a lot of your internal training happened because you had built-in time during the day where teachers were scheduled to meet and then they could build that capacity with the coaches. I have 3 hours of release, which one of them is firmly dedicated to Mr. Enright, and daily we meet and I coach and he talks about concerns and I find ways and we talk through instructional strategies. And I find other things, but I have a number of other teachers coming forward saying, hey, can you come watch me? Can you coach me? Hey, I'm looking at focus notes. Would you be able to drop in? Well, if it's not between periods 1 and 3. And so those are some of the other challenges that I see as well too, is that the people who desire to do it, but the inability for someone to go and provide that sort of coaching possibility, which, and we'll find a way to do it, but there's an interest. I mean, and it's building. Yeah, you have your naysayers, of course, and that's in any new initiative, of course, but lots of positivity. I just, Ben Hellickson, I share a side with. He always said, hey, when I was teaching in California, we had this. I remember, I wasn't an AVID teacher, but I remember the AVID team and, hey, I might want to bring those focus notes to my 6th graders. Could you show me some resources? And we sat down and had an impromptu meeting and I coached them through some ideas of here's how you could tighten up note taking with the 6th graders and here's some resources. Like, oh yeah, and we're going to schedule a time. But I would say those are some of the challenges as well. Right now in the immediacy, it's getting the right kids, but that's on my year 0 plan is extremely tightening up the recruiting process, getting out a little bit more. You know, we didn't even know what AVID was to begin with, and now a little bit more, and who's involved with it. We've got many more Pied Pipers from within. Amanda Adams is absolutely destroying organization right now. I mean, all of her kids, she's not a better person for it. She's run off photocopies of the planner. Her kids every day go through their assignments, and she is very strict. Okay, write down these assignments, get done what you need. So we've got a lot more positive cheerleaders other than this, you know, this old guy from the outside looking in saying, no, I promise you it's really good. You've got a lot of people who are reflecting that, but we just got to get it going. And I think you said it too the other day. And I fear that if AVID becomes an afterthought with all the stuff that we have going on. And it's just like, well, we didn't get to AVID, I guess, this week. And well, maybe next week, or well, not this PLC because we need you to do this. I mean, it's like, no, we need AVID time to do AVID things with the teachers, and it will be special. I mean, just look at the newspaper. How many on the other side of the river? Like 3 front page stories on AVID and them working with UND doing career fairs and how it's shifting the mindset of a lot of I mean, that's absolutely can and will be here. It will be here. So yeah, I'm sold too.
Yeah.
So how do we build this program from here then? Do we have a plan moving forward?
We will work on the schedule, that's part of, we're meeting tomorrow. It's part of Dave, Matt, and going forward.
Okay.
When Jill, Soraya, Dave, I, had some conversation last year, it's, you start where you start and we'll build. And yeah, there's certain things that have to happen. There's no 2 schools are going to be exactly the same either. Yeah, the way Grand Forks rolled out won't be exactly the way we roll out, but we keep moving, 1 step at a time. And it was just a conversation that they should come and kind of update the board and give a little, the board supported and we're moving forward and we've started some conversation. They will be working with, for sure the 9th grade next year so that there's, the 8th grade group, whether it's the exact same or some different or whatever. And we'll keep moving. And I mean, there have to be ways to make the schedule better, to help accommodate. And
There's some learning curves too.
Yeah.
Whenever you implement.
correct.
So.
And won't happen overnight. And Holly can probably speak to, I mean, I know how many years they're in and it takes time, but it is amazing. And Jim is 100% right to see some of the stuff in action was eye-opening, and it's awesome.
It's college and career readiness, and these kids, we're not locking them into a track, but I mean, those 7th graders show up with their binders, which is a big part of it. And they open it up and they look an adult straight in the eye that they haven't met except for 3 seconds. They want to say, hi, it's really nice to meet you. I'm really interested in maybe being a biochemist one day, and Stanford has that. And the other 7th grader looks and said, yeah, Jim, I share that idea. And we're looking at each other going, oh my gosh, where do these people drive? What UFO is gonna beam them back? I mean, it was all of them, and that was it. It was like,
Do you know how long they had been in the program up to that point?
2 years. So, but here's the deal though, within that, it's like not just the AVID elective, which absolutely becomes a big chunk that helps them out, but down the road, then you push, it's called AVID school-wide. It's
Sure.
hard to escape aspects of that. For example, every teacher has the couple minutes carved out for the way in which they do organization, and there's certain systems that they put in place at the school. I mean, AVID's got a game plan for everything. If you want to say, okay, we want to roll with focused notes, here's the game plan, 6-12, it's here. We got it for you. Sixth grade, you do exactly this. Seventh grade, do this. I think of it as like, I use it as a playbook. When I started at Fargo South, the head boys basketball coach got hired at the same time. And the first thing he did was go to the middle school and met with them. I go, of course I was 22 and knew nothing. I mean, I just said, what are you doing? He said, listen, I want them to have the same language, the same types of plays, so that when I get them, I'm not reteaching them. I mean, they start with the same models and I just build. And that's what AVID does. Here's focused notes. Actually goes back to kindergarten. I saw kindergartners and first graders, second graders doing these exact same things. When we start pushing backwards, elementary goes entirely AVID school-wide. They don't do the elective, but it's all these best practices throughout the school. And one of the big, what teachers get latched on so easily with is that it's nothing new.
Yeah.
There's not a single new thing. It's just making it better. And as I talked very briefly to our faculty, I said, it should be easy because as we look, we have great teachers at the middle school. I mean, you're all great. You're going to look at this and just go, oh yeah, this is exactly, but we could tighten things up. Here's the 10-step process. I do 7. Here's 3 more that's going to make us even better. And here's a way that we can tighten it up all the way. But again, build that internal capacity first with that site team, get them understanding, having them our coaches, because with my limitations as of now, I can't get in there, but hey, they can go down the hallway and talk to Amanda about a planner and do that. And that's going to be really effective. But I would like to, I think that's a conversation, is to allow these kids the opportunity to continue the AVID success. And I know with Mr. Chono's class, I'm not putting anything on him, but it is basically the AVID elective.
Sure.
Without the same. And so, I mean, a transition into what needs to be done. There's also already something in place with 90% of doing what it is to designate it with AVID and maybe train and teach it. Would it be a hard lift to do? But that's one of the possibilities that we're exploring. Oh, you go back the other way with the elementary as well too, and get that interest. But yeah, that's at least that's part of my long term. But this is going to be the next 2 years if we do something like this or similar to this, just building up that capacity from within. Yeah.
And, you know, if I can, I just wanted to say thanks. If you guys have any questions, you've all got my email. Just email me anytime. I'll get back to you. And, you know, I think about the kids that you talked about that knew us for 2 minutes. They also, to just put it in perspective, didn't think they were coming in to just talk to teachers. They knew, here's a superintendent sitting at the table and building principals and assistant principals, and they were coming in to talk to the big dogs. It wasn't just the teachers, and they handled it. Oh, it was impressive. I was amazed is all I can really say. It was, if we can even get close to where that is, I would say whatever we put into this is well worth it, because that was incredibly impressive.
Great, any questions? Okay,
Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
all right. Committee reports, did we already go through those?
Yeah.
Okay. 6.0 is the consent agenda, and I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions or discussions on the consent agenda? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 7.0 is for opportunities for citizens to speak. Thank you. Okay. 8.0 is district business. So 8.1 is a little bit what Superintendent Grover was talking about before. It's a resolution to issue 2025 refunding bonds not to exceed 13,450,000. So I can take a motion for that, or actually, yeah, motion, and then a second, then we can discuss, and then we'll vote.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
And again, as I mentioned before, all this does is gives us the authority to start moving forward, get our paperwork in order, let Ellers and the bond group run with it. When they get to the point of A, we're ready, and B, they feel now's the time, and it's like anything, rates can go up, rates can go down. It is not something that will happen like in the next week. We're talking a couple month process. And so whenever that happens, assuming it happens, it'll come back to a board meeting to say, okay, here's the deal, we can sell them, we're currently at 3%, 3.5%, whatever it is, you'll see X in return, and we'd like to sell them tomorrow morning. Yeah, and the board will make, if for some reason the market falls out, things go the other way, we're done. This
I
is
was gonna
cost.
say, do we have to have like an emergency meeting
Well,
for this sort
it
of thing?
depends when they know we have meetings every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while. We had a meeting, and like I say, it's like getting rated and things, so it's not gonna happen in the next 2 weeks.
Sure.
It's a process to get it going, and like you say, if something goes crazy, could be dead in the water, but like I say, they also see, waiting another year, 2 years, of course, you lose a year or two of refund. And so, I mean, anyway, we're not looking at like this 120 isn't gonna go to 300,000. I mean, there's no possibility. The rates just don't fluctuate that much from what, they've said, so.
Is there like a fee structure for their service? Is it a one-time fee or is it built into
It's
the?
built in, it's just like,
Okay,
when you
sure.
close on a house, I mean, and this, the 120,000, I don't have in front of me, is the net, that we would end up taking roughly 20,000, so that includes the fees, this
Sure.
and that, just like the group that, the bond group, yeah, there's a small fee, it'll be covered, and like I say, it's.
Okay.
All right, so we'll take a vote to approve the resolution. Yes.
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 Okay, that's 6-0. Motion passes, or resolution passes. 9.0 is payment of claims and accounts.
I'll make the motion to approve the payment of K-12 bills 130065 through 130164 in the amount of $254,217.42.
I'll second. Any questions or discussion on paying the bills? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 10.0 is board member comments. We'll start with you.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
No.
I, I really enjoyed hearing about AVID. It sounds like an amazing program and I would love to see us continue to try and grow that here in East Grand Forks. A lot of good discussion on girls hockey tonight. I know there's some opposition to it and rightfully so. I understand the concern about opening up a can of worms or breaking from tradition. I just want to say if anybody has any questions for me, please feel free to reach out. I would be more than happy to have that discussion. I think that's all I've got.
Homecoming week. I know it's fun and exciting for every school. They're all dressing crazy this week. All the schools are, and they had the powder puff last night. My kid wasn't supposed to play, and she played. So,
Grounded.
huh? And I know they got the volleyball game on Wednesday, and then the football game on Friday. So a lot of excitement around the school this week. Yeah.
And my 30th year class reunion. Oh, sorry, Lindsay. I
No.
I totally just went.
That's okay. Any comments?
Okay, Amanda?
I just wanna say for pickup at South or at New Heights and CMS, it is a debacle and it was talked about at the Health and Safety Committee. And I just urge parents to look at the handbooks and see what it says and use the crosswalks. And for the walking sign on Bigland, use it right. If it's flashing, you can go as long as there's no kids. If it's solid red, stop. Super easy. There's instructions. I really hope that ends up being a good thing. Another thing, the Education Foundation is part of our school. We do scholarships for students and we do grants for teachers. Just urging the community and staff to look into that. And then the co-op for hockey. If parents have opinions, reach out. If you have something to say, say it. We don't know unless you tell us. That's all.
Holly?
Yeah, it was fun to hear about AVID. I'm excited to see how it goes out in this district, and I think they're right in that one of the most exciting things is to see how it affects teachers and impacts their delivery of instruction. So, give it some time. I think it'll be really good for the district.
I don't have anything further than what everybody else has said, so, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting. Oh, the next meeting is October 13th, 2025 at 5:30 in this room. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion on adjourning? Okay, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.